This is the ultimate guide for warming up on guitar. We're going to go over 3 things: why we warm up, exactly how to warm up, and how long we should be spending warming up. And I bet I'm going to surprise you with my take on number 3. I'm Jake, and I've taught hundreds of adult guitar players who are finally getting started or just getting back into playing guitar, finally make music. So, why do we warm up? Just like an athlete needs to warm up their muscles so that they don't hurt themselves, we need to warm up before we play guitar. However, because we're using such small muscles, most of the time injury isn't the thing that we're worried about. Most injuries musicians sustain are use injuries from doing things over and over again, not from performing things cold. So why are we warming up? It's to solidify the connection between our brains, what we know we want to do, and our hands. We want to make sure that electrical signal that our brain is shooting out to our fingers is coming in loud and clear. And while our brain and hands get better at that as we learn guitar and as we grow, it's always good to cement that every time we get started practicing. In addition, warm-ups are a great place to work on tricky moves for our left and our right hand. Because when we warm up, we want to do things really slowly to get in touch with the instrument for this practice session or this day of playing guitar. We can work on things that would be really difficult to do in other situations because we're moving so slowly. And then we'll be able to speed those things up because slow is smooth and smooth is fast. So as we practice them in our warm-up, we'll be able to bring them into our songs, into our solos, into our improvisations as we continue to get better. Then we understand why we need to warm up, but how do we actually do it? I'm going to give you my 3 favorite warm-ups, each focusing on a different aspect of playing guitar. The first is called the spider. I'm going to line up on 5th, 6th, 7th, and for your pinky, you can put it on 8th fret. I lost my pinky, so I won't be doing that part, but I'll still walk you through it. We're going to lift up one finger, keeping the other 3 down. I'm going to use my pointer finger first, and I'm going to move to 2nd string, which is still on the 5th fret. Then I'm going to move my middle finger to 2nd string, then my ring finger, and then you would move your pinky. And we would continue this to the 3rd string, index, middle, ring, and then pinky. I'm going to keep going while I explain. We want to keep 3 fingers down while we move the 1 finger at a time. The reason that this builds a brain-hand connection is because we are sending a signal to all 4 fingers. 3 of our fingers get the really easy signal of stay put, and 1 finger gets the more complicated signal of move. And this helps build that brain-hand connection between our brain and our fretting hand really well. The second exercise is called the climb. We're going to get our right hand involved. I'm going to start on 1st fret of the thinnest string, and I'm going to pluck that note. Then I'm going to pluck 2nd fret, then 3rd fret, and then if I had my pinky, I would pluck 4th fret, but I don't. Then I'm going to slide up 1 fret and play the same pattern. 1 more fret, 1 more fret, and I would keep going till I reach 12th fret, and then I would go back. This exercise sounds like this. Now I played it pretty quickly, but you could also start it much slower. This exercise works really well to sync our fretting hand and our picking hand together so that we pluck as our finger lands. Now I'm doing groups of 3 because I only have the 3 fingers on my left hand, but you could do groups of 4, and I would actually recommend that to get your pinky involved. And make sure that when you do this exercise, you are doing alternate picking. You start down, then up, then down, up, down, up, down, up, down, up, down, up. Again, that's even easier in groups of 4 if you have your pinky. The third warm-up is using picking patterns on a chord. We're getting our picking hand involved much more here. I'm going to start by just grabbing any chord. Here I'm going to use C major, and then I'm going to choose a particular pattern to pluck the strings with my right hand. I might start with string 5, 3, 4, 5, 2, 3, 4, 3. And I would just repeat that nice and slow. Now, you could start with a much simpler exercise and just play string 5, 4, 3, 2, 5, 4, 3, 2, and then practice your alternate picking 5, 4, 3, 2, 5, 4, 3, 2. Right? It's okay to make this ultra simple, especially when you're starting out. But the idea here is we want to make our right hand or our picking hand work. We want to make it pluck certain strings in a certain pattern and really understand, feel where each string is in space and in relation to the last string we just plucked. There are a ton more warm-ups, but these are 3 of my favorites. Now, when you're evaluating a warm-up, the biggest question to ask yourself is, what is the weakest part of my playing? Is it my changing chords? Is it my strumming? Is it my picking? Where am I the weakest? It could be slides or hammer-ons and pull-offs or bends, anything. But you want to be honest with yourself and you want to assess where you need the most work. Choose a warm-up that's going to help you build confidence and dexterity in that area of your playing, and do it over and over again slowly until it's no longer the weakest area. Then you ask yourself that question all over again and choose new warm-ups to do on your weakest area. I would love to hear what warm-ups you're currently using in your practice routine. Let me know in the comments. I'm really hoping to discover one that I'm not using that I can add to my practice routine. Now we know why we warm up. We've got some tools to get warm, but the most important question is, how long should we be spending warming up? Is it 5 minutes or is it 15? Is it 10% of my practice or 50%? Real quick, before I break down the ideal warm-up time, I want to talk about the number one problem most guitar players face, and that's consistency. It's so easy to put the guitar in the case only to realize you haven't taken it out in a week or longer. We know 5 minutes of practice will help us make progress, but sometimes that's so hard to do. And the number one thing you can do to help your consistency is to be in community with friends making music together. That's why I started my free course and community. I want to invite you to join over 1,400 guitar players who are staying consistent by being in community and sharing their wins with each other every week and every day. You can join us for free at school.com/guitar. Let's get on to the controversial stuff. How long should we warm up for? Warming up is important, but it isn't where most of our progress is made. And for that reason, I always want to warm up as little as possible. That's right. I always warm up as little as I can. As soon as I feel ready to tackle the songs, solos, improvisations, and any music I'm playing, I feel I am done warming up and I'm ready to move on to the meat of my practice time. I think a good place to start is about 5 or 10% of your practice time. So in a 20-minute session, you might warm up for 2 minutes. If you have an hour to practice, it might be somewhere between 3 and 6 minutes. If you're spending the majority of your practice time warming up, you are stealing time from the things that matter most. Learning songs, training your ear, improvising, and in general, making music. I would go so far as to say, if you only have 5 or 10 minutes to grab your guitar, don't warm up. Jump right into something you're excited to work on, that gets you going, that makes you excited to play guitar, but start a little slowly instead of jumping in at your max tempo to make sure that you can get your hands and your brain synced up, just like you would if you spent some time warming up. Now that you know all about warming up on guitar, if you need some songs to practice, these 4 are simple, fun, and build a solid foundation in the fundamentals.